I'm Malcolm Van Delst, and this is an excerpt from Do the Wrong Thing, a book series or extra long novel that opens with a woman trying to kill herself. She says, "I don't know why I tried to do this," and by way of explanation, tells her life story. We're at the end of book 3. The working title is Shiny Pretty Gothic. Literally the ending tonight. Hopefully it's good. Last week in Shiny Pretty Gothic, a bunch of rewrites and edits. Ava returned to Canada, discussed fake and real place names in Canada and the US, and had a breakdown on the way to her first shift back at work after hitching around the States. This final chapter is called Homing. At the restaurant, the occurrence with sound happens again when I open the door, though here it's all voices, so many of them, and yapping, dead-eyed faces. Okay, maybe they aren't dead-eyed, but why so happy? What could possibly be interesting in these people's lives? Kids, jobs, mortgages? I smile nervously at one of my bosses, Antonio, the younger of 2 brothers. He's got soft, crinkly eyes and likes me. Not in that way, but as if I were a little sister or even a daughter. I never know how to handle it. What do you give a brother or a father? "Sorry, can you repeat that?" I say to my customers once I'm on the floor. They stare at me like I'm stupid. Tears fill my eyes. Antonio finds me at the back near the door to the kitchen. "Are you okay?" He tilts his head and puts his hand on my shoulder. "I have to leave," I blurt, my mouth providing a plan my mind didn't know it had until this very second. "I'm going back to Arbor to be close to my family." His eyebrows arch. "Okay." I look away. "If I make up with my mother, if we become friends again." Antonio sighs and takes his hand from my shoulder. "Can you finish your shift? Let's talk about this when the rush is over. The bulimia will stop. I'll have a home again. I won't be lonely." I wipe my face. "Yes, I was having trouble hearing." He furrows his brow. "Are you sure you're okay?" "I think so. Yes." I straighten up. "Yes, I am. I'll have to live in Arbor for work. Not that I could stand Dardanelle, even if I could find a job there." Antonio's brother appears at the end of the hall. "What's going on? The restaurant is packed." Antonio looks at me. "I'm fine," I say. When the lunch crowd has left, Antonio asks me again how I'm feeling. "I need to leave," I repeat, avoiding his gaze. He sighs. "Are you sure? You just got back." I nod, keeping my eyes averted. "Okay, if that's what you want." I nod, a quick jerk, holding back tears. "We enjoyed having you," he says. "I'll miss you," I interrupt, looking up abruptly, then away. He puts his hand on my arm again. "Ava," he smiles, "can you work your shifts until we fill them?" I nod. "Yes." "We'll be happy to give you a job here if you ever come back." I look at him, his bright brown eyes, and smile. Where did he come from? Italy, I think. Why is he like this? Why is he kind? "You have crabs, pubic lice," the walk-in clinic doctor tells me. "I bathed in a tide pool about a week ago. I saw a small crab in it after I got out." She regards me for a few seconds without saying anything. "You don't get pubic lice from tide pools," she finally continues. "When's the last time you had sex?" "That guy on Western Island, the one who let me stay in his house for a couple of days after sleeping in the forest. I didn't mention it earlier because until the second I forgot. While I'm coming clean, I might as well confess to sleeping in a homeless shelter as well. But I didn't realize what it was. Someone told me there were places you could sleep for free when you traveled. I thought it was like the Rainbow Gathering, only permanent." "About a week ago," I tell the doctor. "Wait, I didn't have sex with either of the guys in Telemann. They picked me up in their old pale blue truck, and somehow I ended up making blackberry pies for them. I couldn't believe there were berries everywhere that you could pick for free. In Arbor, people pay to pick berries like that. I was abnormally outgoing, making those pies like I was trying to be a girl, a proper baking, house cleaning girl, but I felt fake and I don't know, like I had to keep talking and moving and get the hell out of there in case I got stuck, like I'd become a blackberry pie Sisyphus. The pies turned out shallow and sour. I made them without sugar, trying to be healthy. The guys, 2 of them, about my age, lived in an old house with a big, black, placid, and gentle dog. The place smelled like the dog. It's all coming back to me now, though weirdly, I'm wearing the purple skirt I'd find in the garbage a couple years later, and the Doc Marten boots I owned at the time I found the skirt. I definitely did not ever go to Westwood when I wore that skirt and those boots. In fact, it'd be almost 2 decades before I went back to Westwood Island. The guys were gentle and placid like the dog. I slept on a single bed covered in a dark green checked woodsman's blanket in their kitchen for one night. About a month ago, I tell the doctor. She looks at me, saying nothing again. Then, when did you first notice the lice? 3 days ago. You've had lice for a month without noticing? I didn't have them until a couple days ago. She shakes her head. It's possible you got them from infested bedding. It does happen. I nod. Regarding the homeless shelter, it was a huge empty room full of cots. Only a few of the beds were occupied. Outside the shelter, a dirty brunette woman yelled at someone who wasn't there. I didn't expect to see something like that at a shelter for travelers. I must have gone to the shelter right after getting off the ferry. That's the only way it makes sense geographically. Landing in Century City from the Anacortes ferry, sleeping in the shelter, then hitching towards Telemann Park and meeting the guys, then heading north to Cedar Bay and Wendy, then heading back down the island and getting the ferry to the continent at Xavier, a small city 100 miles or so from Century City. The doctor writes me a prescription for a cream and tells me to put it on my pubes and wash anything I've worn in the last 3 or 4 days, along with my sheets, blankets, and towels in the hottest water possible. I'm astonished that my memories from Westward Island are as hazy as they are. Then again, many remembrances are scrambled, time-wise, from my upcoming years in Arbor, book 4, as of yet untitled. I suppose I said goodbye to my roommates and Damien. That's right. I called Damien. I remember that. Arbor, isn't that kind of, he giggles, small? Yeah, I reply, silence hanging between us like, well, silence. Keep writing. Silence. Since I've got a lot of poison to let, I will, filling notebooks with garbage, pus, and disease. It's hardly crafting narratives, rounding characters, building scenes, or even examining ideas. I don't know how to write beyond putting pen to paper and letting the instrument move. That story I wrote for Damien, it was a fluke. I pretend to write. I will, I lie.